Hi, what's up fellow modelers? Damien Newton here, showing you the Jakks Pacific Armoured Batman work in progress, part 1. So, building this for a friend of mine who's watched some other videos on YouTube of them pimping this model out, if you like, to make it better. It was the actual core model. It was pretty nice. I mean, it's quite close to, I think it's the Sideshow statue that you can buy, which which is an expensive statue, a couple of £100. But obviously, if you can make this look like it and create your own base for it, you can get a pretty decent mock-up of it. So what I had to do was start by undoing all the screws here. The belt at the back just required some teasing out of this, which sits inside that at the back there. So that was kind of step 1, to get that teased out, just using a screwdriver, and managed to pry it out without breaking the plastic itself. Then all the screws you don't need to do these screws in the arms or the legs, obviously, but all the screws in the main body. Slide this apart. Then you could get the arms and the legs off, and the head. There was kind of a plug thing here that the head sat on. Obviously, I've cut that down, and I'll show you why shortly. So then it was a case of, well, I've been online and watched a few of the videos myself for a few hints and tips. So the cape, one moment on my windowsill here. So the cape was held in by a screw here, with the cape wrapped around that there. So I had to unwind that and then pull the cape off. Obviously I'll buy a decent cape, make it look nicer. So I've got the cape out. Then a case of boot polish. Just poured a load into a bowl, rather than using the actual thing as they did in the videos. I wanted a bit more precision in there, so dabbing the boot polish on, leaving it for 10-15 minutes, and then just getting a rough sponge and just scraping it off, which got all the grime into these recesses here, down deep into the recesses. Also on here, boot polish all over it, just getting it down into those, as I say, all the recesses. And then just scrubbing it off with your brush. This has a texture to it, so once I'd kind of boot polished it, just got a grey and just dry brushed over there to pick out all those height bits. Is that in screen? Can't tell. I'm wearing a GoPro head mask, so hopefully it's showing up. Then it was a case of using a silver, getting all the paint off and just scraping. Where's my actual brush I used? There we go. Just getting that, and then scraping all the paint off onto kitchen roll, and then just scraping those highlights so you pick them out. Then when there's hardly any paint on, over just like that, so you can see the high bits and it looks like scraped metal. Some deep ridges were cut into the kit already, and I just got a very fine brush from my set there, just put that silver into those to pick them out. The head itself, just used painted, got a wash for the skin tone, picked out the higher areas, which to be honest you can't really tell. I don't know if the camera's picking it up at all well. Move it close to my face, but there are lighter tones around here on the face. The lips, I just used a bronzed flesh tone from Games Workshop, and then for the stubble, just got a real scrubby brush, this tatty ended brush here, into smoke, dabbing off all the dots on it, and then just, you know, going around picking it out like that. Ben Affleck's little mole there, just using a black wash, just getting some on my brush. So the black wash was there, just getting a dab on my brush, and then just very gently there, splodge, you know, to give him his mole, which he has. I actually watched the fight scene in BVS as well, just see if there's anything else on the suit I could kind of take hints from as well. So the mole was something I noticed and I've put on there for him. Now the head, now these eyes glow in the dark, so obviously hold them to light, and then, you know, you can move them away. Can you see that? I don't know if that's showing up as glow in the dark, but they're slightly glowing in the dark here. But I saw a video where he wired this whole thing up, you know, and had an electrical plug and things like that. I think it was Diorama Builders or something like that I watched it on. But I thought, you know, instead of doing that, I think I can do a shortcut to that, you know, simplifying it a little bit. So I've got this LED bulb here, that onto there like that, and then hopefully the idea is when I sit the head on, it should look okay. So we'll see how that goes. I'm thinking I may need to, you know, put a piece of plastic or something on the inside there. So let's cut these eyes out and see where we are. Does this show up if I'm doing it? Yeah, of course it does, yeah. Okay. Just very gently into... And it's worth saying, this plastic is thick. So in a lot of cases, my craft knife just wasn't cutting it. I had to use a saw on some of the bits because the plastic's so thick. You know, as kids say, at the end of the day, it's got to be durable. So I've used the saw a lot. There we go. Just down there. Just trying to stay along that line there. A bit dark in here. Okay. Just go through there. Gently cut that through, don't want to go too far with it. There we go, just through there. Come on now, come on. Like it's real, teasing it. Shh, come on, come on. There we go. Nope. Is it still attached up the top there? There we go, just right in the corner, it's still attached there. There we go. Right. Just clean that up a little. Obviously I'm cutting towards my thumb there, the most dangerous thing you can do. Please don't do that at home. I mean, we all do it. But, you know, you've been warned. Don't blame me if you're following this and you say, well, you know, I didn't do that. What I say, what I do, two entirely different things. Okay. So this video's not going to be ages today. Kids have gone dancing with a wife. So just using the time as I can, really. Okay. So let's just see what that will look like. Whether or not I'm going to have to... You know what? That don't look too bad. Quite impressed with that. Let's find some tweezers there. Just get that last bit of plastic out that you can see in the corner. Son of a bitch, don't want to go. No, no. There we go. There we go. Yeah, quite happy with that. That looks alright. Alright, so that's the plan with the head anyway. Now on the face, after I did the wash, his face was quite shiny, so using, you know, Dulco, what's it called, excuse me, I'm gonna have a look now, can't remember what it's called, Krylon matte finish, sorry, just to dull that that shine down. Turn the light on so I can see what I'm doing. Just to dull that shine down, you know, so I just use my fingers like that. I couldn't be bothered masking it, so I just use my fingers. But that's the thing really, you can't spray that on it once you're done, because you've got your silver and that will just kill the shine to your silver. So yeah, looking good so far. One of the things that I've done, on the actual model kit that you can buy, is on a kind of diorama base of rubble and everything, and he's climbing over it. Now obviously once you get the model, it stands straight, you know, both legs straight. So what I've done is I cut along the leg down here, and then over this here, and then down and through there. And I've just started using, well, it's from Games Workshop, it's called the green stuff, but epoxy, not epoxy, Aves or something like that will do the job, or any kind of two-part, you know, modelling putty. And then just, you know, using my modelling tools, I've just started smoothing it out there, along there. And obviously I'm going to build up the knee here, and it got some slight damage here, so I'll build the bottom of the base up there. But that's the idea with the legs there, so that once they're I've seen it on some kits where they actually cut this off, but you know what, I don't think I need to. And it kind of, once this is in, it's in pretty good. So you know, they're quite impressive, these Jakks specific model kits, not model kits, kids toys. You know, it's come as news to me. There's a whole kind of YouTube industry out there of people rebuilding these kits. It's worth saying as well, today I uploaded another kit. I've been doing a Hellboy, the Narin Hellboy, and I used, because this GoPro's new, I used a kind of software to upload the video, and it's put a watermark on the whole thing. But there's the Hellboy over there, and it's funny actually, once I uploaded it and had a look at it, here I am talking about Hellboy in a different video, I realised that the gun was the wrong way round, so I've had to turn that the right way, and of course getting it off, it's broken all around here. So using green stuff, I'll resculpt that later tonight, and that'll look perfect once I've done that. But yeah, it's just one of those little things. You think something's done, and then you look at it and kind of you think, oh, I'm not happy with that. You know, it's constant thinking and thinking. So anyway, oh, Jesus. So how this will eventually stand is, you know, something like that. Yeah, maybe it can't be that high, obviously, but something like that. Let's have a look. There we go. to give him the sense of he's moving forward, he's walking over this rubble. So that will be when I build the base there. Now also the hands sit pretty flush to the body, which I didn't like. So I've using my little hacksaw, I sawed off the little joint there that was holding that in place in there. Done the same with this one, and then also because these arms are going to be at an angle, it was sticking out to about here, so I had to get rid of all that. And then I think this, just using this as a guideline for how far out I want to move the arms, something like that for that arm. And then again just using green stuff from Games Workshop or Citadel, you know, Games Workshop, whatever you want to call it. That's their green stuff, and you just mix that together, equal quantities, and you get that kind of hard green down there. And sawed off that half as well, and that's going to be back like that. And he wants me to build him the kryptonite spear that Batman has in the film there. So, you know, God knows how I'm going to do that. I'll have to check some reference photos online for that. So that's that. You know, I started with that duller silver, just picking out those lines, and then for the sharp bits, you know, just so it picks it out a bit more and gives it a bit more of a shine, I've used a sharper silver there. The belt was just this colour inside, a brownish colour. So painted all that up gold, put on a wash over there, kind of a brownie wash, brownie red it was, I think. You know, if you can see the colour in there, that's the colour of it. And then just dry brushed silver on it to make it look as if it's been scraped and that. I picked out, you know, as I've been dry brushing, obviously I've hit a few areas here. You can see the silver on the black there, so that's going to be my job now. I'm going to paint that, and then I'm going to call this a day. What, we're on 7 o'clock? Yeah, they're going to be home fairly soon, so that's that. It's a pretty popular kit, this, you know, model this. I've seen it quite a few places. Loads of, you know, forums, statue collectors forums and things like that. People absolutely love it, which is in contradiction to how a lot of people felt about the film, you know, which seems strange. Me, myself, I will be honest, I absolutely loved the film. And if that garners me some hate, then so be it, but, you know, for whatever reason, it really resonated with me. I remember, but Dark Knight Returns is the first comic book I ever read as a, you know, how old was I? I think it was 14 at the time. It's around 1989 when, you know, the Michael Keaton Batman film came out. And, you know, I remember sitting there, I'd saved up 3 weeks newspaper money, I think it was. I remember going out to a newsagent's, which was in the centre of our town, which is no longer there, buying it. I think it was about £13–14 at the time, and getting home, sitting on my bed, and it said the opening paragraph was something like it talks about Batman and his kind of legacy, and then it says for the past 10 years nobody has seen or heard of the Batman until now, until tonight. I remember just thinking, oh my god, and I must read it about once a year still. Absolutely love that book. I mean, I love Frank Miller anyway, obviously less so of modern times, although Xerxes, which is recently done a sequel to 300, that was perfectly fine, but you know, even things like Sin City were getting tiring towards the end. he's definitely lost his shine over the past few years, but at the height of his game, you know, Daredevil, and when he wrote some Spider-Man and things like that back in the day for Marvel, absolutely incredible writer. Just got the dynamism, oh my god, forget it. Just got the characters so right in so many ways. Absolutely perfect writer, and definitely deserves the recognition that he got. But you know, everybody kind of the shine goes off everybody, doesn't it? Eventually, you know, people only remain talented for so long, or until they get a bit of burnout or whatever. But he no taking away, absolutely no taking away from what he did for that comics industry back in the day. Obviously his political views of years have gotten a lot of controversy or whatever, but you know, that book still means a lot to me, and I can't, although I disagree with a lot of what he has to say, well, nearly everything he has to say nowadays, I can't, you know, take anything away from him. Oh, sorry, the fins here again gold, and then just dry brush that silver on to give him that effect. So pop that one over there to dry. And there's another Dark Knight statue I've got over there. Is that showing up on camera? The DC collectible one. I've also got a video up showing how I've repainted that recently as well. So check that out also, please. Really happy with that. But this black I'm using's got a very slight sheen to it, which I like. Game colour black. All the dry brushing and things I've done on his face. I was going to use the airbrush, but it just seemed too small an area. I can't be bothered. I kind of wish I had at some point. You know, when you're painting skin tones by hand, it's a pain in the bum. Let's be honest. I don't think there's anybody out there who thinks, God, I love skin tones. Jesus. Anyway, BVS I was talking about, yeah, so it's better than Justice League, you know, at least it had an identity. Justice League is just a bit of a mess. It's the music. Something that makes BVS feel so epic to me. It's just the music. It's so overwrought and intense, you know, boom, 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 boom. Everything's got this real kind of, oh, it's massive, it's massive. It's huge, it's this huge smackdown that's happening or whatever. And that sounds like me mocking it or whatever. I'm not. I love it. I absolutely love it. And that Batman fight, that was everything I ever wanted to see. So, comic book wise, massive comic book reader for years. So, I've kind of seemed to be talking about comic books. So, I've always, well, not always, I think as a younger man, I was pure DC, 100% DC. But saying that, I wasn't just 100% DC. Read Dark Horse, you know, Aliens, Predator, things like that. But the only DC character I was reading was Batman, and obviously the tie-ins to Batman, the Robin and Nightwing and things like that. My God, when Chuck Dixon was writing Nightwing, oh my Lord, that was such a good run. And Robin, good God, that man, incredible comic book writer. Unfortunately, the recent Bane miniseries he did didn't reach the heights of things he'd done in the past. But you know, I think it was about 2001, something like that. I started branching off into Marvel more. I can't think what got me into Marvel. It was Daredevil. For whatever reason, I think I borrowed. Oh no, I remember I borrowed. I read rather. Born Again, Daredevil Born Again by Frank Miller. You know, you stick to what you know, don't you? So I know Frank Miller, so I thought, yeah, I'll give that a go. Jesus, what a book. It's probably up there with one of my favourite comic books of all time. Absolutely incredible. Took, you know, that second Tia character and wrote that story. It's absolutely amazing. Loved it. So model kit wise, what have I got coming up? So I've never actually, you know, properly built a base for a kit, so I'm quite looking forward to trying to build a base for this fella. I've ordered some foam to cut down to make it look like concrete. Got, you know, the kind of gentle around here. Shall I go up there with a brush? I'm gonna have to. Damn it. God, this is pernickety, isn't it? I'm hoping this shows up. Just following the curves of his face. Try not to reach up onto his actual face. Otherwise that'll be a pain in the bum to fix. Yeah, so sorry, I'll keep going off on a tangent. So obviously I'll have to build a base for this, and then I've got a predator I'm doing, massive predator. It arrived the other day, it's from Thailand or something. It's a bloody recast. I hadn't realised, but I'd agreed to paint it before I knew. Oh, you freaking idiot! Right, there we go. Right, let's just get a Q-tip. Joys of spit. There we go. Yeah, so obviously as you watch me, I'm going to make lots of mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's fixing them's the fun bit, isn't it? That's the part of the hobby we love. Anyway, I was talking about that predator, so yeah, I'll have to build that. I've never done a predator before. Tell a lie, I have, but never done one since I've been a decent-ish painter. So my model kit history is in the, well, I'm 40, what am I, 4? I think I'm 44, something like that. I've stopped counting. I'll remember again once I hit 45. Could be 43 actually, thinking about it. Yeah, so obviously, as I say, I've always been into comic books, you know, Judge Dredd, Batman, all that stuff. And then I remember there used to be a model shop in the centre of the town where I live, a little commuter town near Manchester called Bury. And they had a Judge Dredd kit in there. I think it cost me about 25 quid. Didn't know you could get model kits like that, but from that point on I was hooked. And back then it was all vinyl. I don't know if there was a resin scene. There was nothing I ever saw. And then Horizon started doing all the kind of vinyl model kits of the Batman series. So I had literally all of them, except I think the Riddler and Catwoman didn't really like the statues, but I had all the others. I say had because obviously as we got kids and I had no room to put them anymore, off they went into the bin. But hey ho, you know, such is life. So yeah, painted all those Horizon kits. And I remember I was on holiday once with some friends, and we used to travel to, we used to go camping, and I'd go and get all the comic book shops in the area and go out on day trips, comic book shopping. So I think we're in Nottingham, something like that. Went up, found a comic book shop, and there was also a model shop in the town. I walked in and they had the model of Batman versus Predator from the 90s comic book, where they're both, you know, running at each other. A classic shot from near the finale of the book, where Batman's got his tactical kind of heat, hides the heat of his body so that he can better fight the Predator. And I think, God, I mean, that was mid-90s, you know, would it have been 90? Yeah, maybe 95, something like that. God, I think it cost me £300-400, which would be about, you know, I don't know, £1,000, something like that in today's money. Maybe not, maybe £800, something like that. But Jesus Christ, that's a dog of a kit. Has anyone ever built it? But, you know, for me, up until that point, it was all resin, you know, not resin, it was all vinyl, and it was heating the parts up with a hairdryer, you know, cutting them out with your hobby knife. And suddenly I had this kit where you needed drills and saws and sanders and, you know, everything like that. And looking back on it, it was probably a resculpt, because I think the actual kit itself was blue, and mine was kind of grey, and, you know, loads of air bubbles all over it, you know. It was the first real time I'd started using. I'd used modelling putty obviously in the past, milliput and things like that, but just got a hair hanging off there. Dip my head in. Come on. Freaking hell, gotta make a mess of this now. Where's my little scissors? Sorry guys, you bloody watch me walk all over my bloody living room. I used to have a painting room. Then the kids came. Yeah, so it's a kit I keep looking for. I'd love to do it again. It got wrecked in a move when we moved house once. It got crushed. Normally I can rebuild most things, but it just got absolutely devastated, and there was nothing I could do but bin it. I did keep the Batman for a while, just as because that one survived, but you know, I had it on my desk at work in the office, and the cleaner moved it one day and its leg broke off, so I just thought, oh, fuck it, I'll bin it. Worth saying what I did in here, just pour a load of this game colour white, which has a slight shine to it, just so the light bounce around in there. But yeah, I'll cut that eye later, as I say. This arm, have we got any black? Yeah, a little bit there. Yeah, so Batman v Predator, did that kit. I mean, that took me absolutely ages, and I was trying to build a whole diorama with it, you know, and just through trial and error like that, you just get better at painting, don't you? You know, I'm alright at art, I'm a pretty good drawer, but I've always preferred painting. Something more therapeutic about it, it feels more creative. And you get, like, you can look at the model kit at the end of the process, and there it is on your shelf, and you feel that sense of pride. And as you get painting, as you start painting better, you know, through the years, you can repaint. That's the joy of it. You think, that was okay. You know, I've recently, I put a few of them up online, I think, the videos. Recently repainted my Hulk. Just checking you can see what I'm doing here. Recently repainted my Hulk, my Batman Year One, the Bane one, Who Rules the Night. You know, so it's just as your skills get slightly better, you can repaint them. But yeah, trying to think what I did after Batman v Predator. Still into most of my vinyl kits. Horizon, Spider-Man, Green Goblin, just anything that looked like a challenge. Although his suit's quite simple, it's a frustrating suit to paint, really. You know, there's a lot of little challenging bits in it. No more little black bits on there. We're saying in a lot of the videos I've seen, they paint the whole of the glove black, which isn't right. If you notice on the film or whatever, and even in the, I don't know if it's a sideshow statue or what, the Batman one, but even that has black gloves, you know, underneath. So that's what I've gone for. Just picking it as if the metal's on top and it's his armour, and this is just his regular bat suit underneath. Because I mean that's the start of the bat symbol there, so it's got to be his bat suit underneath. So I just wanted to make sure it was done correctly. I'm realising I'm kind of just talking because it's better than silence, but I am rambling, so just bear with me. So yeah, other kits I've got coming up. So I've got that Predator, and like I say, although I painted the Predator for the Batman vs Predator one, at that time I didn't have an airbrush, didn't know how to airbrush. That was something that I thought was super expensive. Of course, we didn't have things like eBay, there was no internet back then, so you know, you had to buy these things brand new, and they were imported from America, and just everything cost more, really, you know. So they were just way out of my league, so I never had an airbrush, so I kind of just did an undercoat of the lighter tone, and then just dry brush certain areas to try and make it look like the Predator's skin, you know, and it was alright. Probably looking back, I mean, if I saw it now I would probably tell you it was shit, but it probably was. But for the skill set that I had at the time, it was alright. I think I was more proud of the Batman. I think I did a really good job on him. The blues in the cape and everything just really looked incredible, and I got the colour of the armour I just thought it looked superb. I mean, I think even if I saw it now I'd think it looked good. I think it was just, you know, occasionally when you paint something, you look at it, you're in awe of it, and you think, I can't believe I painted that, that's amazing. You know, occasionally your own skill surprises you. So yeah, I mean, I managed to do his armour and things like that absolutely fine, because you can dry brush and wash and things like that, age the armour up, you know. The eyes, I did them a blue. I think, does his eyes flash red in the Predator film? I can't remember, but I just thought the blue just pops so much more, you know. So I did bluish eyes, tints to the eyes. They just look great, really stood out. You know, if you'd have seen those glowing in the dark, you would have been absolutely petrified. So they look great. But yeah, so this one, obviously I've got an airbrush now, so I'm going to get some reference photos up of reptilian skin, predator skin, and see what I can do with that. So I'll probably do a series of videos on that. I know it's, I think it's a recast, but like I say, I've never seen the original, so I don't know if it was ever an original kit. 28-inch Predator, what's that, about 1/3 scale, something like that. I don't know if it was ever an official kit. It could have always been a cheap Chinese knockoff or something, I don't know. So, Jesus. So yeah, got that to do. I've also got someone sending me a Needful Things kit, so if you're on the group on Facebook, they've got a Mad Max the Road Warrior kit coming up, I'll do a review once it arrives. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Seen some reference photos online, and obviously some people had it painted up for Jersey Fest, which, you know, Resin Maniacs were there over the weekend, and they put some pictures up of it, so I copied all the pictures, you know, saved them to my photos on the iPhone, just for reference really, to see what other people had done with it. I'll also, you know, it's an amazing film, so I'll also be watching that again. Anything for an excuse to watch that film again before I start work on it, just to familiarise myself with it. So it's Mel Gibson stood there with his shotgun out. I think he's got one foot up on a kind of tyre in the dirt, and the feral boy with the boomerang, he's there, and the dog with a little tin of, what's the name of the dog food he eats before giving the dog some. Anyway, that kind of Australian make of dog food. I think it's 1/5 scale, could be 1/6 scale, but it looks impressive. So looking forward to doing that. Later in the year, I've got a Hush Batman kit coming. I quite like the way that shines. It would, you know, it would look like it's some kind of hardened or coloured, you know, hardened plastic or something under the armour. I don't know, you know. Saying that out loud, it sounds like nonsense. Why would he have plastic under it? But it was dark, and it kind of makes sense anyway to the kit. Anyway, so that Hush Batman coming, that's from some, I think he got it from a group on Facebook. You know, these fan, what do they call them when they're not Sideshow or you know, XM or things like that. They're not one of these recognised names. Fan art, you know, a way of not getting sued, I suppose. I've got a friend who's just recently going to get a 3D printer, and he wants to get into all that fan art stuff. I mean, that seems to be what it is nowadays. It's less of the hand sculpting and more of the, what time are we on, 20 past? More of the you know, people create something on, is it called ZBrush, the 3D, you know, the 3D tool that they create them on, and then obviously they take a cast from that and then continue to build your models. It's also worth saying there's a guy on eBay, Underworld Sculpture. I've got a Hellboy of his, not Hellboy, what am I talking about? I've got a Wolverine of his coming. And yeah, I don't know, it looks alright. The pose doesn't blow me away, but I bought that for myself. Just fancied painting a Wolverine. I'm not sure if it's like the Jim Lee Wolverine or John Byrne or which version of Wolverine it is. I guess once I see the sculpt itself, I'll know. So I've got that coming up, and I'll obviously do a review of that and start posting some videos of it. I want to kind of start, you know, doing this much more, getting properly into YouTube, because it gets quite lonely just painting by yourself. So if I've got somebody to ramble on to, that's fine. I suppose for the people that are paying for the kits as well, it allows them to watch them getting built. I think this Batman was, obviously when it came out, I'm not sure how much you got it in the shops. You can no longer get it in the shops, obviously. But I think paid about 20-25 quid for it, something like that. You know, it's clearly been a kid's toy. But it was quite durable, so it wasn't beat up or anything. But yeah, I mean, since I saw that video, there's so many videos of people who take these Jakks specific toys and, you know, create their own models out of them. Thank God that dried. Should be wearing gloves by rights. Yeah, they're impressive. I think they do a whole Star Wars line as well, which probably all the Star Wars fans are into. It's been more of a comic book guy, but I do like Star Wars, but obviously not as much as comic books. So yeah, I mean, kits for myself, I haven't really got loads of room for them, but you know, every so often I'll buy myself a kit that interests me. I like to try and it's not necessarily about the model itself, it's about the elements that go into it. So, you know, things like when I was painting the Hellboy, all the leather on the belts, God, I had a blast doing that, you know. Little things like that you've never done before, you know, sculpting all the little pouches and beads and just adornments to his costume. Really, that was the interesting bit, the stuff that I've not done before. You know, just really interesting. Pushing yourself, learning new skills, you know, that's what it's about at the end of the day. You know what, if I'm rambling away here and you can't see this, I'm going to be gutted. No, just check my camera, you can. I just recently got this GoPro off eBay. I bought a second hand one. Couldn't really afford a brand new one. I suppose I could have used my iPhone or whatever, but it's mounting the thing. This comes with you know, a headpiece, so just wearing it on my head like a head torch. Filming myself a while ago. What else have I got coming up? So oh yeah, the what's it called, Azrael, you know, from the 90s Nightfall series. I think that was another piece of fan art as well. 1/4 scale, same as the Batman Hush I've got coming. So looking forward to that, I really am. I think that's the one I'm gonna, you know, because I think, well, I know back in the day Horizon did a version of it, and I had that kit and I painted it up. It was a nice kit, I enjoyed it, but just getting that 1/4 scale of that